What's going on, Reject Nation? It's Greg Alba here.
And I'm John.
So we got a word from Rosa Parra over at Patreon, one of our top pledges over there. She wanted to know our thoughts on something that I didn't hear about until I read her message, and I was like, what the hell is she talking about? Apparently there's a new Star Wars film series separate from Rian Johnson's trilogy that's going to be created by the people who've created the Game of Thrones show. That is David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. So this is pretty exciting news in certain ways. I already feel like people are already feeling like there's so much Star Wars already, getting a new TV show, already another planned trilogy that Rian Johnson's doing. We still need to wrap up the new Skywalker saga.
Don't forget all those spin-offs.
And all the spin-offs that we're doing too. So there's so much Star Wars happening right now. These creators, I love Game of Thrones. I think Game of Thrones is a great show. I guess my only concern with these guys doing it is that the realm in which they've created has been from a TV show format where they've had a long time to really explore characters, really get time to really build everything. And I'm thinking about the latest season of Game of Thrones and how people have been responding. I personally love the latest season of Game of Thrones, but I know there's a big part of the fan base that felt that it was a little rushed, a little compact because they had less episodes than they normally are allowed to. So I'm thinking, man, if they already had that issue with having less episodes, it might be a little challenging for them with having just movie format to tell a story from with brand new characters.
Well, that and they don't have any more book to draw from of the source material, and I know some fans have been kind of upset with them over their handling of the post-source material episodes and stuff like that. You know, going into a Star Wars trilogy, I mean, the stuff they've had to conquer on Game of Thrones is certainly stuff they can use there. They work with a massive ensemble and a whole lot of worlds and a whole lot of designs and a whole lot of massive production values. I have no doubt that they can handle a project of this magnitude.
I mean, as a fan of Game of Thrones, the TV show, with that little minor concern I have, because I don't feel that same way how a lot of people have felt about the latest season. I love the show, so I think these guys who can create these epic fantasies that are very character driven and also bring some awesome action sequences to the plate, I think it's cool for them to switch fantasy genres into sci-fi fantasy with exploring the Star Wars territory. I'm glad it's not part of the Skywalker saga, that they get a chance to create their own brand new thing. I'd probably be a little more excited if they could be a little more on the R-rated side, because Game of Thrones is a pretty hard R show. In terms of character exploration, setting up interesting, enticing characters, exploring fantasy, I think these guys are the perfect fit. Would I have liked a woman to have come on board for Star Wars? Sure, that would have been cool. Because
director of color?
Yeah, because, you know, that's what fans have been wanting, is for Star Wars to start getting away from white man directing Star Wars films. And now we got two new white guys handling a new trilogy.
Them, no less. On the heels of some of the complaints I've heard about Season 6, I will say that they're perhaps better suited to a Star Wars, because Game of Thrones, you expect a certain amount of like political intrigue and the back and forth between houses and nations, and there's lots of things to talk about, whereas I feel like the difference they split with the Season 6 could actually lend itself really well to Star Wars, because there is a lot more spectacle there and there's a lot more action.
And I think you can go more bold with this. Like, if this was them taking up episode 9, I'd be a little concerned, because, you know, Rian Johnson made some pretty bold choices, which is something we would want, is like someone who's going to make bold, daring choices, and these creators are known to do that with their own TV show. But if you do that with the Skywalker saga specifically, that obviously upsets a lot of fans. The fact that this is separate from that leaves room to do something that is really bold and really different. I hope they don't get fired 90% way through the production of this film.
I hope they're able to do something bold and different, because just as all the superhero movies have needed that, Star Wars will too.
I mean, between having an episode 9, a Rian Johnson trilogy, and then this trilogy, and then the other spin-offs that they plan on doing, I would say that between all those different Star Wars films to choose from, this is probably the one I'm most intrigued by at the current moment.
It's the biggest question mark for me. I guess the one I'm most interested by is the Rian Johnson trilogy, but this does seem like a neat idea, and to hear somebody else's take on Star Wars is always something I'm open to.
Let's hope we don't get sick of Star Wars a few years from now, people.
Let's hope. Some people are already sick of Star Wars.
And also, Rosa Parra, thank you so much for keeping us up to date. We know you're the biggest fan. You are the Lady Stark of our Patreon page. I know you sent us a message saying you're sending us a gift in the mail, and I'm like, man, you're already one of our highest pledges. You don't have to do that. We will take the gift, though. I love gifts. Gifts are my favorite thing in the world.
Far be it from us to deject generosity.
If I know you, the gift is primarily going to be for John's usage, and it's probably not going to be anything for me, since I know you love John way more than me.
Hey, man, I'll share. I'll share it with you.
Yeah, you could share the fleshlight. All right, guys. Well, what do you guys think of this news? Are you excited for it? Do you hate it? Are you sick of Star Wars? Do you want more Star Wars? Can we get to a point where we get a Star Wars movie every 2 months?
Every week.
So you can subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click that notification bell to get notified every time one of our videos is up. And check us out on Patreon. A lot of exclusive different kinds of videos over there.